their experimental design, they had to cut everything at the same time, every time, okay, rather than based on stage of maturity. So they noted that the control was behind in stage of maturity. It was at partial bloom compared to half bloom compared to full bloom. And so the particular researcher, Dr. Jason Roundtree, indicated to me that, you know, if they had been cutting based on maturity, stage of maturity alone, that with the microbial treated alfalfa, they would have been able to get an additional cutting for that growing season. Okay, at the same location, we also conducted an orchard grass legume trial on their pastures. And again, we used Sumagrow at 1 gallon per acre at green up. The second treatment was Sumagrow applied in a split application of a half and a half at green up, half 4 weeks later, and then their control untreated pastures. And we grazed them throughout their warm season grazing period. And here's the results in bricks. We had an elevation in bricks where we included the Sumagrow, or the microbes, and then we also had an increase in dry matter yields where we were able to include the microbes. Okay, other observations that we have made from our trials, our forage trials over the last 3 years, I mentioned that in Virginia, we noted the last 2 years at our November field day that we have seen a definitive difference between treated and untreated in terms of frost and freeze tolerance. They're continuing to note that this year. We have noted that in a number of other crops and in a number of other locations. We are definitely seeing greater drought resistance and drought tolerance in our forage crops and other crops when we're able to incorporate the microbes. In a lot of our field trials this year, in row crop field trials throughout the Midwest and upper Midwest where we had severe drought, they noted that the microbial treated corn and soybeans went longer into the drought period without showing any kind of serious detrimental impact. Now obviously in several of those areas as the drought persisted, then it didn't matter what you applied, you know, you had negative impact. Again, I mentioned earlier that the wildlife prefer the microbial treated areas, and they've made that very clear in their preference, but we have also noted the same preferences in our livestock, where we have built grazing paddocks, where we have half treated and half untreated offered in the same grazing paddock. The livestock have been migrating towards the treated, the microbial treated pastures first, before they will go over and graze the untreated portions of the pastures. We have noted in several different trials, forage trials, that we've had fewer pest problems, particularly with armyworms. The armyworms are much less of a problem in the last 2 years in several trials that we have conducted where we have incorporated the microbes. So that potentially could be another benefit. Again, you know, that's anecdotal, and we need to do some more definitive controlled trials to be able to determine that precisely. All right, I'm going to end today with things that make you go, oops, okay? These are also, by the way, things not to do, all right? I hope there wasn't a passenger in that car, but now, on this one, you're thinking, this is going to be a bad landing, you know. And this one was taken at Al Smith's farm, okay, so, so again, things that make you go, oops, thank you very much. Appreciate it.